Ruby and the Smierc, an adaptation of Helen Eustice's Mr. Death and the Redheaded Woman, adapted by Courtney Schumaker and Alec Grietsell. In a strange little world, in a land far away, in a town known to most as Hullabaloo, lived a clever young man by the name of Calvin Cole, handsome as a Wumblethor, but with a fear of growing old. And in that same town lived Miss Ruby Black, a girl with a gift she knew not that she had. Miss Ruby's mother was not from this world. She fell into a hole when she was just a little girl. But when she awoke in Hullabaloo, she found her true love and decided to stay. So into this strange world was born Miss Ruby Black, with a beauty so foreign it stopped death in its tracks. For whenever the Smierc came to collect the souls of those on the black list of death, if they were, by chance, in Miss Ruby's care, the Smierc couldn't help but let them be spared. For to see any sadness on her face so fair was something the Smierc simply could not bear. But her gift was discovered by Mr. Calvin Cole, and so he designed to steal Miss Ruby's soul. If Calvin could only get Ruby to love him, then he would be safe from the Black Reaper of Grim. So he traveled afar to the lands of Contrary, and he struck a deal with the witch Injun Mary. He obtained for the small price of 2 gimble heathers a potion to make Ruby love him forever.
So, Miss Black, I assume you're wondering why I've asked you to meet me here in this fine establishment tonight.
On the contrary, Mr. Cole, I know very well why you've asked me to meet you here tonight.
Oh?
Yes, it's the same reason you ask me to meet you here every Thursday evening, so you can drink enough liquor to make a stumblebump lose its footing while trying to convince me to accept your marriage proposal, which I will again turn down before you are escorted onto the streets to stumble along home.
You know, it sounds so terrible when you put it like that. And yet, here you are again. Just like last week, and the week before, and the week before. Every week I ask you here, and every week you show up. I'm starting to think I'm growing on you a little bit.
Yes, well, unfortunately, I work here. And even more unfortunately, you're in charge of my work schedule.
You know, if only you'd say yes, you'd never have to work here again. My father's got enough money that you'd never have to work another day in your life.
Then maybe I should marry your father.
Oh, come on, Miss Black. You'd like being married to me. You and I could travel the whole world together. There's plenty of sights to see outside of Hullabaloo. I could take you to the Wallalands to see...
Sorry, Mr. Cole, but I just couldn't do it. As enticing as the Wallalands sound, there's just no way I could keep up with your liquor and gambling habits.
I could change my ways for you, Miss Black. If you were to marry me, I'd never drink another drop of liquor in my life, nor gamble another cent of my family's money. So what do you say?
Well, if it isn't Mr. Calvin Cole, the boys and I are about to get a game of poker going. You want to join in? Hey, Smierc, there's a foreigner in town. Looks like he'd be pretty easy to hustle, and he's got loads of cash to boot.
Tell you what, Miss Black, you take your time, have a drink on me while you mull it over and I go play some poker. And when I come back, I'll be waiting to hear a yes come out of those pretty little lips when I ask you to marry me.
Oh, and what in the world makes you think I'll have changed my mind by the time you come back?
This.
What is it?
A love potion, Miss Black. A love potion that'll make you love me forever. Bumbleberry flavored. Your favorite.
You've lost your mind if you think a little bumbleberry syrup is gonna make me want to marry you, Mr. Cole.
Go ahead. Try a little bit. It only takes a sip.
Well, as excellent as that tastes, I can honestly say that I don't love you any more than I did 2 seconds ago.
Like I said, when I come back, I'll be expecting a yes.
So Mr. Calvin Cole left Miss Ruby Black to tend to her job while he swindled the guests. But Calvin didn't know he was gambling with the Smierc, and that what was at stake was the life he held dear. The Smierc won and tried to claim Calvin for death, when suddenly the potion took its effect. Ruby searched the whole room and saw him dragged out the back, the object of her affection, flanked by 2 thimbernacks. So she ran outside with a bang-tangler neath her coat and watched the Smierc curl his fingers around Calvin's throat. She shrieked when she saw the lights leave his eyes, causing the Smierc to let go in surprise. Miss Ruby then ran to Calvin Cole's aid. She cried out for help and looked unafraid on the face of the Smierc. And when their eyes met, his heart broke in 2 as he watched while she wept.
Why?
Because this is what happens when you gamble with death.
Wait!
Ruby, what's going on? Oh, sweet queen of madness!
He's been touched by the Smierc. He needs a doctor.
Dr. Zanzabar is just inside.
Dr. Zanzabar! How long ago did it happen?
Not 10 minutes.
Being touched by the Smierc is no simple matter. I'll do my best to save him, but I can't make any promises. You two, help me carry him back to my lab. He's going to need a heavy dose of Starbulb elixir if there's to be any hope of saving him. Go home, Miss Ruby. We'll take it from here.
Ruby went home, as the doctor had told her, but she couldn't sleep with her mind so disordered. She knew that a man, once touched by the Smierc, was the property of death, no matter who held him dear. So she lay in her bed, and she soon hatched a plan to follow the Smierc to faraway lands. She got on her snuffle-hump and rode quickly away, far past the limits of Hullabaloo, through grueling terrain and inclement weather, for days upon days, never stopping for leisure, past the Wallalands, past the lands of Contrary, past the hut that belonged to the witch Injun Mary, until finally she saw, on a hilltop appear, the black, hooded figure that belonged to the Smierc.
Smierc! Smierc, wait up! I've come a long way to speak with you, and I intend to do just that. You can run all you want, but I'll just keep following.
What do you want from me? What could I possibly give you that's worth what you've been through to get here?
The life of Calvin Cole.
And why is his life so important to you?
I love him.
That's rich. You rode all this way to save the life of that drunken idiot because you love him? I expect a better judgment from you, Miss Black.
Now you listen to me, Smierc.
Smierc. My name is Smierc.
Smierc. I know that Calvin is a little rough around the edges, but he's really sweet once you get to know him.
Are you sure it's him you're sweet on? Or that stack of money in the bank with his name on it?
You are a real piece of work, you know that? I can't believe you would ever insinuate that. Ugh, never mind. I wouldn't expect someone like you to know anything about love. Just name your price.
Well, for some, it would cost an eye. and for others, 10 years of their life. But since you glean such obvious pleasure from being in my presence, if you can make it 2 trips around the world in my company, then you can have your precious Calvin Cole back, good as new.
Deal.
Best get a move on then.
Hey, put me down!
Sorry, miss, but death doesn't take orders from little girls.
Little girl, I will have you know that I am not just a little girl.
Boy, you can talk a lot.
On they went fighting, the Smierc and Miss Ruby, through Zillabalang and Wallapalooza. Until suddenly the Smierc came to a stop near a small little house in the town of Kalash.
Why did we stop?
I've got some business to take care of.
Business? What business?
Wait here.
You just killed that baby.
Ruby.
You just killed that baby. I saw you through the window. I saw you do it. His parents are gonna wake up and just like my parents when my baby's sister. You killed my baby's sister.
Ruby. She was sick, Ruby. Your sister was sick and full of pain, just like the baby in there. I took them both so they wouldn't have to cry anymore. Here, drink this. We should get going.
Okay.
From that moment on, the two didn't fight, as Ruby now saw the Smierc in a new light. One might even say, as they continued to travel, the effects of the potion began to unravel. Now you see, the more that they talked, the more Ruby fell in love with the Smierc, who had feelings for her as well.
Well, here we are.
Here we are.
I expect Mr. Cole will be waiting for you inside.
I expect so. I
Well,
guess I should. Can I ask you something?
Anything.
Don't you ever get lonely? Traveling the world all by yourself, day after day?
Yes.
Well, what do you do? When you're lonely, I mean.
I peer through the windows at how humans sleep in each other's arms. I watch them hold each other when they've been gone a long time. And how they walk hand in hand and steal kisses when no one else is watching.
Then Ruby did something without quite knowing why. She went up to the Smierc, and she kissed him goodbye. Just a peck on the lips, a short little farewell. But just long enough to break Calvin's love spell. And as the Smierc turned to leave, Miss Ruby Black found that she couldn't bear the thought of not having him around.
Smierc, wait! You know, it doesn't look like Calvin is exactly hurting for company, and he seems to be as healthy as a Crumblethaw again, and...
Yes?
Well, I was wondering if maybe it wouldn't be too much of an imposition for me to join you on the road, so you don't have to travel all alone anymore, and...
I like that very much, Miss Ruby. Very much indeed.
Then the Smierc leaned in and kissed Ruby Black. Then the two left together and never turned back. And through the good times and bad, through fighting and laughter, they spent the rest of their days happily ever after. This has been a recording of Ruby and the Smierc, an adaptation of Helen Eustice's Mr. Death and the Redheaded Woman. Adapted by Courtney Schumaker and Alec Grietsell. Musical composition by Daniel Grayvold. Recorded with help from Lotta Rautianen and Kayshawna Williams. Narrated by Chris Trevino, with Courtney Schumaker as Ruby Black, Tyler Harry as the Smierc, Andrew Deckert as Calvin Cole, Lotta Rautianen as Dr. Zanzabar, Alyssa Andrew as Bartender number 1, and Daniel Grayvold as Man number 1.